We're talking to Salena Zito. She is the author of a coming book. We'll talk to her again this summer when it comes out. A coming book called Butler, The Untold Story of the Near Assassination of Donald Trump and the Fight for America's Heartland. I think that's chapter 1. That's the longest title, Salena, I've ever heard. And my books have long titles.
I didn't come up with that.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, you were talking about when he was shot. And you said it was the next day that was really telling. Let me ask you first, before you go into the next day. You were close enough to see when he was down on the ground. I asked him recently, privately, what was going through your head? And he said, honestly, Glenn, this is pathetic. It looks weak. Get up. You're not afraid. Get up. Get up.
Yes.
That was amazing. Has he talked to you about that?
Yeah, it's in the book. I won't give too much away. I want everyone to buy it.
I'm ordering mine today. Everybody should read, because Salena is a great writer. She's the one I would want to tell this story. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Pre-orders, you know that how important that is, especially if you don't live in New York or D.C.
Yeah.
So you know, we had that conversation, and I'll tell you a little bit of it because I had the same. It was the way he explained it was so powerful. So the first thing I think people should know is that he called me first thing in the morning the next day, and before I could even say hello, he said, "Salena, are you okay? Is your daughter okay?"
Isn't that crazy?
And I kind of swore at the president, and my mom's going to be mad when she reads this part. But I said, "Are you bleeping kidding me? You're the one that was shot, right?" But it was just so stunned that was the first thing he was thinking of it, and it was dark 30 in the morning, like it was really early in the morning. We proceeded to have about 7 more phone calls, I think maybe more, and you know, one of the things that he said to me was, one thing people don't know is before he said fight, 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 I could see him. He says USA twice. He's still on the ground. And then I see him turn and get up and say fight, fight, fight. Wow. And so we talked about that. And I said, why? And like you did. And he said, well, Salena, at that moment I wasn't Donald Trump. I was symbolic, even though I wasn't president yet. Again, I had once been president. I had an obligation to show that the country is strong, that we will not be defeated, and that we are resolute. I did not want to be the symbol of America being weak.
Jeez. That does not happen. That is not, I mean, you're bringing me to tears. That is not something that happens. That is in you. That is either in you or not in you, and it's in very few people.
Yes. And we talk a lot about faith as well. There are some very gripping emotional moments that he and I have, not only that next day, but also I saw him probably a dozen times after that at different rallies that I covered. And we had some very emotional conversations. But he believed in that moment, and I think he believes that always. You can tell by his swagger. You can tell by the way he talks. He always believes that you have a responsibility as the president of the United States. You are a symbol of the country and everything that it stands for. You should project strength at all times. And he had it in that moment.
Isn't it weird?
Go ahead.
Isn't it weird? You know, there have been other world leaders that have had assassination attempts, and it makes them egotistical. This assassination attempt actually humbled him and yet strengthened him. It's the most bizarre thing I've seen. You know, he could have easily gone up and said, it was the most beautiful bullet of all time, but my superpowers, you know what I mean? And he doesn't. He was like, God save me. And doesn't use that as that's why you need to go stay at the Trump God golf course that I'm building. I mean, you know what I mean?
No. You're exactly right. And if people are wondering why he is so resolute on everything that he's doing and everything he is doing at such a warp speed, It's because he believes, and he told me this, that God was there. God saved him because he never uses a chart. He never turns away. He asks me several times, I don't know why, like out loud, he's like, I don't know why I did that, Salena. I don't know why I did that. The man you see today, and you see what he is projecting, and no matter who is sort of saying, this is terrible, you're going to break the country, blah, 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 whatever it is, he's like, no, I am supposed to do this. I am supposed to save this country. And I don't think you're going to see him, waver. Now, will he change his mind on things?
Yeah.
Sure. He's not dumb.
He's pragmatic.
But yes, he's incredibly pragmatic. There's also by the way, people will find out that Trump in this book, in Butler, that Trump is not the only president to be shot in Butler and almost die. George Washington did.
Oh, you're kidding me. Wait a minute.
No,
wait. He was shot? I didn't think George Washington was ever wounded.
He did. They missed, just like this guy did.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
wow.
That's the first chapter. George Washington running through Butler.
I think we need to make sure everybody knows you're running for president. Don't go to Butler. Jeez.
and Butler, the reason why Butler is also so important is that Butler is a symbol of everyday America, right? This is a county and a city that is a great big mix of suburbs, but also industrial and farmer and ranchers, right? This is if you wanted to see like a melting pot of the country in one county, this is it. And he goes to places like that, and he lets people know that they are seen.
Yeah, I know.
Just like East Palestine. Like that was the moment that changed the trajectory of his election, was showing up in East Palestine in February of 2023. People might not remember he was down in the polls then. This was before, the primary process started, and he was down in the polls. 1 week after he went to East Palestine, he shot out above DeSantis and Haley and never looked back. And that is that magic power that he has, in that he makes places and people in those places feel seen. And so the book will take you also through what nobody saw and heard during the election cycle.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Let me go back to Butler here for a second.
Yeah.
He also said to me the one thing that cemented where he knew, and I think this is part of where he got his swagger back, where he knew the American people were with him. He said, I get back up and I see the crowd is not a jumble of chaos, everybody stampeding toward an exit.
Yeah.
I've never really seen the video of that moment from the crowd perspective. You always see the video of him. What was it like in the crowd when that was going on? What was happening to the crowd?
It was like a miracle. People were not freaking out. People were cheering him on as he left. And after he was safely gone, they just quietly exited. And what is really profound, Glenn, is they kept me in the back for a long time. They were trying to make sure I wasn't hit because I never got down. Because sometimes you don't know if you're hit, right?
Right.
And so I go out and walk with my daughter and my son-in-law. We walk to our car, and there's, this is on a big farm, right? And there's all those cars are still there. They hadn't let anybody leave yet. And instead of like people blowing their horn, like this is an hour after it happened, right? Instead of people freaking out, people were outside of their cars. They were hugging each other. They were sharing like waters and food and helping each other, making sure everyone was okay. It was incredibly moving to be there. And I talked to people that were there in the book, and it was absolutely, I get chills even talking about it, because what you saw in that moment was the way that people behave in a crisis situation can go one or two ways.
Yeah.
And many people said to me, like, they felt the presence of something greater than self in that moment, and they believed they weren't scared. They weren't scared.
Salena, the name of the book is Butler, and it's coming out this summer. You can pre-order it now. I'm literally going to order my copy today because Salena is she's a fantastic, she's one of my favorite writers in the world, and just really, really good. So this is going to be a great story. Do you get into the who the shooter was and all of that?
I mean, the shooter actually grew up maybe 3 miles from my home of 30 years. There's not much to tell in terms of motive, but I really get into the family, the poor sportsman range where he went to. This is a kid who, I went and looked at the log of when he went to the range. He went on Thanksgiving. He went on Christmas. He went on Valentine's Day. These are days.
You're with somebody.
You're able to get more of a profile of this gentleman. But I also, this is a day that had the wind blown any other way. Had so many things could have been so wrong in that moment. And that's the heart of Butler. And you saw it elsewhere throughout the election with the president. And like I said, there's some funny spots. He chases me with hairspray all the time.
All the time?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He thinks he thinks that I have the greatest hair in America, and he will tell you that. But he also is like, "What? You need to wear hairspray." I'm like, "Sir, I don't want my hair any bigger. It gets Italian.
Right.
I can't help the way it looks." And so, yeah, there's some very humorous moments in the book as well, but also just like really on the ground in Pennsylvania, and really seeing what really was happening in that election, not just with President Trump, but also with Harris and Walt. There are some stories there that will blow people's mind in terms of how inept and unprepared they were.
We'll love to have you back, when the book is out. But thank you so much for sharing that. I know you didn't plan on sharing it today, but thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. I really deeply appreciate it.
No, it's always good to talk to you. Good, dear friend, and one of the best journalists out there, Salena Zito. The name of the book is Butler. You can pre-order it now, get it now, and be one of the first to have it. We'll try to have her back on when the book officially comes out, but it sounds like a great read.